A DuBois County soldier has now come home. We'll have more on that. Plus, trial dates have now been set for 2 Pike County men charged with murder, and Kelly Mitchell and Mary James with Southern Indiana Resource Solutions are tonight's guests on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin this evening with a DuBois County soldier returning home from duty. Last night, friends, family, and supporters turned out to welcome U.S. Marine Lance Corporal Nathan Merkley home. Merkley landed at the Indianapolis International Airport yesterday afternoon. He arrived at Hayesville just after 7:30 last night, where a procession led him back to his home in DuBois. Merkley says he is grateful for everyone's support.
It's really nice knowing that everybody's behind me, pushing me and let me know that they support everything I'm doing. Just happy about it.
Merkley says he plans to relax and enjoy time with family now that he has returned home. Merkley returned to the U.S. the week of March 6th. He had been stationed in the Middle East on security force deployment. The procession that led Merkley back to DuBois from Hayesville was led by members of the Indiana Patriot Guard along with the Hayesville Fire Department. Joe Lori was one of the ride captains for last night's procession. He says welcoming a soldier back home is a great honor.
It's just really a great feeling to be able to do this, to be able to do this for the soldiers, because, there was a point in time in our history of veterans where this just didn't happen. As a matter of fact, we have a stain, during the Vietnam era. So to be able to do this for our veterans now, it's tremendous. The veterans love it. The active boys that come home love it, and it's just it's a great feeling all the way around.
Merkley's post-deployment leave is set to last through April 15th. The pretrial and trial dates have now been set for 2 Pike County men charged with killing a DuBois man during a bar fight last fall. Officials with DuBois County Circuit Court say 23-year-old Leslie Osborne Jr. and 22-year-old Zachary Parks, both of Petersburg, will have their pretrial hearing on July 14th at 10 a.m. The court says the trial date for both men is set for August the 11th at 8 a.m. Now, back on February 6th, the state filed a motion for joinder that allows for Osborne Jr. and Parks to be tried together. That motion was granted on March 12th, according to Circuit Court officials. Parks and Osborne are facing Class C felonies for involuntary manslaughter following the death of 41-year-old Timothy Stafford. This story began when a fight between 2 unidentified men broke out outside of JR's bar in Jasper during the early morning hours of October 12th. After attempting to break up the first fight, Osborne and Stafford confronted each other and began fighting themselves, according to Jasper police. Police further say once Stafford and Osborne were separated, Stafford attempted to punch Parks, but Parks punched Stafford first, knocking him unconscious. Osborne and Parks then continued hitting Stafford while he lay unconscious. Stafford was initially taken to Memorial Hospital. He was later airlifted to St. Mary's Hospital in Evansville, where he died from his injuries. Parks and Osborne had their initial court hearing back on October 21st. A tip about possible child pornography led to a Huntingburg man's arrest early this morning. At about 5:45 a.m., DuBois County Sheriff's deputies and a Huntingburg police officer went to a residence in the 400 block of East 2nd Street. Police told the man at the home, 45-year-old Barry Wright, about the tip they had received. Wright then let officers into the home to do a search. Police say they found 2 computers with at least 2 pornographic images of underage children on them. The 2 computers and several other electronic devices were taken by police for further investigation. Wright was taken into custody and was lodged in the DuBois County Security Center. He faces 2 Class D felonies for possession of child pornography. May's primary election is nearing, and DuBois County officials are now getting prepared. This morning, members of the DuBois County Election Board tested 3 of the county's voting machines to ensure that all was in proper working order. The test was done to ensure that each candidate on the primary ballot gets votes as they should. After the testing, the machines were then reset to 0 and locked away prior to May's primary. On a final note there, DuBois County Clerk Bridget Jarbo is reminding folks to get registered to vote in next month's primary. She says registering to vote now could save you logistical headaches down the road.
This is the best time to get it going, to make sure they are up to date with their registration, they're in the correct precinct when they're voting. It just helps for statistical purposes throughout the state.
Indiana Secretary of State Connie Lawson is also reminding folks to get registered to vote next month. Even those people who are turning 18 between now and the general election in November will be able to vote in the primary election. Voters who want to mail in their registration must have a postmark date of no later than April 7th. Any applications postmarked after that date will not be accepted. For more information or to verify, update, or start a new registration, you can go online to indianavoters.com. A Pike County man convicted in the murder of 2 EMTs 13 years ago is set to learn his fate later this month. Chris Helsley will be resentenced on April 21st in DuBois County Circuit Court. The case was moved to DuBois County after Pike Circuit Court Judge Jeff Biesterveld recused himself from the case. Biesterveld was Pike County's prosecutor at the time of Helsley's conviction. DuBois Circuit Court Judge William Weichert announced that jury selection for the case will take place on April 16th and 17th. Now, Helsley was convicted of killing Pike County EMTs Marcia Rainey and Brad Maxwell at the county's EMS barn at Campbelltown back in 2001. He was originally sentenced to life without parole, though he filed a petition for post-conviction relief for both his conviction and his sentence in May of last year. The petition was filed on the grounds that his defense attorney, Michael Keating, did not adequately defend him during the original trial. Keating stated that he was comfortable with his overall defense of Helsley. However, he also says his argument against the life without parole sentence might have been weak. That confession led to an agreement to uphold the conviction but retry the sentence. For the sentence to be upheld, the jury will have to vote unanimously that life without parole is an appropriate sentence. The Lilly Endowment Community Scholarship winner for DuBois County has now been announced. Northeast DuBois High School senior Ethan Kiefner has been named as this year's Lilly Scholarship recipient. Kiefner will receive full tuition for the college of his choice, along with a $900 yearly stipend for required books and equipment. He has been accepted to the University of Evansville and he plans to study engineering. Kiefner was recommended for the scholarship by the DuBois County Community Foundation's Scholarship Oversight Committee. Independent Colleges of Indiana, or ICI, made the final selection and notified the DCCF. A not-for-profit organization, the ICI represents 31 regionally accredited degree-granting private colleges and universities across the state. Kiefner is one of 142 Lilly Scholarship winners statewide. He is also the second one from our viewing area thus far, joining North Davies High School senior Braden Lawyer. And this final note for you, a boil order is now in effect for some Ireland water customers after a lightning strike led to a water main break this morning. Ireland Utilities officials say a lightning bolt struck the town's water tower and a nearby tree, causing a break in the water main and the tower to drain down. Folks dealt with low or even no water pressure this morning as repairs were made. Ken Schnaus with Ireland Utilities says the line is now fixed. As for the boil order, it is in effect for residents from the Shiloh Estates area over to County Road 400 West. Schnaus says a water sample will be taken sometime in the next 24 hours to decide whether or not the boil order should be lifted. All right, coming up after the break, your local forecast, sports with Kurt Gooksell, and Inform with Kelly Mitchell and Mary James. That's all up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Local people watching local people.